Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Vorpal Board stream for Tuesday night. Tonight, I have a special guest with me. I have John Merchant, and we are going to be playing his game, Squire for Hire. John, thanks for joining.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Oh, and of course. So, for folks who have never seen Squire for Hire or don't know what the game is all about, it's currently running on Kickstarter. It is what I would call a runaway success. It started with a target of something around $900, I think, and we're currently at about, I think, 1,400% over that target. Is that right?
Yep.
So tell me, is that something that you had any inkling might happen, or was this like as much a shock to you as I guess it is?
I mean, it's definitely a shock. You never really know what you're in for, but you see a few, micro card games here and there that have done really well. A recent one is at Post 18 from another fellow Canadian up here, and it seemed like it could be worthwhile to try it out, and here we are.
Yeah, and I think the micro card game kind of space on Kickstarter is especially interesting to me. Like the stuff Button Shy does. I have a few of their games and I really love them.
They're great.
It's exciting that it's sort of turning into a little sub market on Kickstarter where people can release these 15 to 18 card micro games that I like the fact that they play in like 10 minutes, 15 minutes. And have a lot of unique mechanics to them. I think it's interesting to me, at least, to see designers work in a constrained way. Where
it's a constraint that kind of breeds creativity, right? So you get a lot of unique ideas born out of that.
Yeah, and this is something that you have some experience with, because I know that you have some games that you sell on the Game Crafter, right? So
I do.
Is this something? Is this your first Kickstarter, or did you kickstart any of those? Okay, first.
No,
Kickstarter.
this is my first one. Yeah.
All right. So how long have you been doing? I know that you're an illustrator. For people who don't know, John is also an illustrator. How long have you been doing game design?
Technically, I guess since I was a kid. So
Nice.
But it's always kind of been there. When I was a kid, I'd be designing, custom Monopoly games by putting sticker paper over top of an old Monopoly board, and making my own Super Mario themed version of it, or designing my own Pokemon cards on a Windows 98 computer, that kind of thing, right? But more seriously, in the last, I'd say 2-3 years.
Cool. And are you always the artist on all of your games as well, or have you ever worked with any artists?
I haven't worked with any other artists yet. I'd love to. So far, it's just been me, myself, and I.
Awesome. A one-man show, which I think is honestly pretty refreshing to see on Kickstarter, which was one of the things that hopefully drew people to it as well, but drew me personally to your campaign. Was it very much felt like maybe what the platform was supposed to embody originally, which is one person who has a kind of a dream to build something, is doing all the work for it, and is looking for people to get behind their idea, and to me that's exciting that's what happened. So my kind of board game geekish kind of question: what's the last game other than one of yours that was on a table for you? What's the last game you've played?
I actually just bought where is it? Sushi Go.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, so another kind of small, casual, lightweight card game. I'm hoping to get more into. I haven't had a chance to really dive into that yet, but
cool. Is that kind of the type of games that you prefer to play in addition to design, or do you play some heavyweight stuff as well?
No, not really. I've been wanting to get into Netrunner.
Oh, okay, cool.
That's my big go-to right now, but it's a little daunting right now. So
I mean, obviously you're right in the middle of a Kickstarter campaign, so not a lot of time to just be messing around. But so how many days left you have? I think you have 5 days left.
5 days left. Yeah.
5 days left for folks that are looking, who aren't backers yet and who are potentially interested in getting behind the game. I'm going to put a link in the chat here so that you can go check it out. They're a little bit over 900 backers currently. So we're hoping to see in the next 5 days John get over 1,000 backers, which would be a cool milestone, even if it doesn't necessarily mean really anything. And then what kind of timelines are we talking for folks from a delivery perspective? I assume you've done this a number of times, right? So you have a little bit of your pipeline in place. What's the delivery estimation?
So right now we're looking at, I've worked with, the Game Crafter, which is where I sell a lot of my games right now. The plan as is to kind of order those games right after the Kickstarter. Art's all done. It's just a matter of sending it off to print, bringing it in, and shipping it out. We're looking at probably January at this point.
Cool. All right. Yeah. So fairly quick turnaround, which is great because most of the time when you're backing a board game on Kickstarter, it could be, months, years, who knows? Yeah. So a cool thing that I really liked, I don't know if you had inspiration for this, that I'm going to try to show here. For folks who haven't seen Vorpal Board before, the camera that you're seeing, the game is actually sitting directly to my left, kind of right over here on the table. And this camera that you're seeing here is actually streaming really, really high-res photos. So I'm going to put my mouse over here so you can see that I can actually zoom in and read the text on the back of the box that this game comes in. The main reason for that, obviously, is when you're playing a game, you need to be able to read the board or read the cards or whatever. If we were doing video, you're not able to read it quite as well. There are games that could work with video fine, but we're going to show John's game tonight using the really high-res photos. But what's cool about this game is you can see this little clasp. It actually opens up, and the box sort of unfolds like this and has all the rules built into it, and then the cards sitting right in there. And I noticed that that's something that if you haven't done for all your games, I know you've done in previous games, and I've never seen anything done just like this. Is this like a unique construction of yours, or did you pull this from somewhere?
So obviously the box design is from a template that the Game Crafter uses.
Yeah.
But I'm a sucker for clever product design.
Yeah.
So I kind of make it a small, unique signature that, with most card game designs that I do, I'll make something kind of unique with the box.
Yeah, it's cool. And obviously this particular game, you're playing as a squire for a hero, and your job is going to be loading all of their loot efficiently into their pack and helping them, complete missions. So the entire box looks like, and I'm going to fold it up kind of like a little bit slowly here, you can see the box looks like a pack full of stuff. Exactly. Weapons and items and junk and all sorts of skulls, which is a little bit creepy, but yeah, very thematic packaging, which is really cool. So kudos. I was hopeful that wasn't just a prototyping thing, that it was going to stay that way, and it sounds like that's the case. So
we're still sticking with that.
Sweet. Okay. All right. So let's talk a little bit about the game. It's designed to play quick. And you can play it 1 to 2 players. You can go up to 4 if you have 2 copies. You can shuffle the 2 decks together. And I have played it so far only in 2-player mode, but I've watched some playthroughs on 1 player. And really all the rules are essentially the same. And so we're going to start by getting dealt 2 squires each, and then we get to choose one and toss the other one away. And so I'm going to deal, John, these will be yours. For folks who've never sort of seen what Vorpal Board does, I have a little card scanner sitting here to my left, and when I put a card into it, it appears in the game so that remote players can interact with the cards. And we didn't do anything in advance. This is just sort of happening real time as I put the cards into the game, so that John's able to choose his cards. I'm going to scan my cards in as well. So that folks at home can tell kind of what I'm up to. Sometimes when I play with my friends, we'll keep some of the cards in the real world versus the digital world, depending on kind of how we're playing it. But I'll bring them all in so I can show you guys all the cool art. All right, so these are my 2 choices. I can choose Oru. And on the card, you'll see a bunch of sort of skills and bonus points for this particular character. So up in the top right corner, you can see bonuses that the particular character has. In this case, I get 1 additional magic item square always by being this character. Other characters have additional weapon item squares or valuable item squares or armor item squares. And then each one has a special ability, I guess I'll call it. And my special ability on this card is I don't actually lose points for having food in my backpack, assumedly because I'm eating that food, which I like. And then And you'll see how the scoring kind of shakes out at the end. But just know that for this character, I don't have to worry about food items. And then these little distinctions are the bonuses that I'll get, and every character's is a little bit different for matching these items together. So if I'm able to put a spell book together with a scroll next to each other in the pack, I get a bonus point. Same goes for this orb and scroll. I'll get 2 points. And every character card is a kind of like that. I'll look at each of them. Here's Tenderfoot. Tenderfoot's the one that's kind of based on money and all the valuable items. And then if I zoom in here on Fran, Fran is the armor paladin, or actually the paladin's trainee, not the actual paladin. We're just
Exactly.
the lowly squires, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's Fran, and then the final choice is Gust, and Gust is all about the weaponry. And so you can see all the characters kind of have similar nomenclature on their cards. I'm gonna play as Uru because I have not played as the raccoon. I think it's raccoon, right?
He's the raccoon. Yep.
Raccoon before.
Big fan favorite.
Okay, yeah. So that's who I'm gonna be, and who are you gonna play as, John?
Perfect. I'm gonna go with Tenderfoot.
All right, cool. All right, so we'll put you. Let's have you go over kind of on this right hand side, and I'll go on the left hand side here, and then we'll build our. We'll start building our packs. All right, so here's how the basic structure of the game works. You take turns, and on every turn, you actually take a look at a sort of an event card, which is going to either be a dungeon or an encounter or a quest, and essentially you're running a little mini adventure here as you play through the deck. And on every single one of these event cards, we can either succeed by having good stuff in our backpack or using one of the items that we've already found in our adventure. And I'll sort of explain how both of those work. So I'm going to set the initial way the game starts, which is there are 2 item cards flipped up, and then we have 1 encounter in the middle. And I'm just going to make sure that this is focused correctly for you.
And we're just missing our starting bag cards as well.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, we need to give a card to each. So I'm actually going to take that away because I feel dirty just taking them right off the top after I shuffled.
Yeah.
It seems like
So
unacceptable.
the way it's supposed to work is we each get 2 and pick 1, kind of the way we did with the squires as well.
Yeah, so here we go. I'm going to scan some of these in.
Yeah.
So these will be yours. So we each get to start with something cool in our bag. You'll see that as John's flipping them over, there's various different types of item in the game. They're all color-coded, red, blue, purple, yellow, or gold. And then junk items, which are kind of like a darker gray on the card. And you want to be able to get as many good items in your bag as you can and as few junk items in your bag as you can. And you'll see as we're kind of laying out our bags, that's not as easy as it initially seems.
Yeah. So just to kind of explain my my thought process here, I have 1 card that has a chest worth 4 item value. I have a helmet that's worth 1 and a spell book that's worth 1 magic item value. So that's probably the one I want to go with there, especially because Tenderfoot gets the extra bonus for chests combined with other items. So I'll get rid of the other one here.
Okay, so you're going to keep that chest card.
Yeah.
Sounds good. And then we will shuffle back in the cards that we don't choose. Agent Dave, it's good to see you. Bummer you can't stay. If you're looking for a quick-to-play sort of card-laying micro game, definitely check out the link for Squire for Hire. Yep, talk to you later.
Thanks, Dave.
Okay, and then my thinking, let's see. I mean, I'm looking for magic items, but this one over here actually has some food on it too, which is nice because that takes care of one of the negatives for me already. Yep. But I'm gonna start with the magic item just to try to get those bonus points. So I'll keep this one, and then I will shuffle the other one back in.
Cool.
All right, and now I can set the initial state. So how was the design process for this, John? Was it kind of came out of your brain fully formed, or did it take a lot of
No.
play testing and modification over time?
Yeah, very much so.
Okay,
this one actually started off as the biggest complex kind of polyominoes board game that I designed.
Oh, okay, cool.
And it was massive, and it ended up being this like giant multi-page list of features and game mechanics. And I got rid of it all and boiled it down to an 18-card game.
Well, hey, I mean, I think well, they say that about like design decisions all the time, don't they? It's just like boil it down to its absolute minimum, where the stuff is still good, and then you have your game. Okay, so the way that the structure is built here, this is the initial state. There are 2 items that could be rewards if we're able to successfully complete what's in the middle here. And in the middle could be a quest or an encounter or a dungeon, and they all have unique text on them, which kind of tell a story about what's happening. And the way that you would succeed in any of these cards is either on the left-hand side, having enough in your pack of this type of item to equal the number of squares that you see here. So in this case, I need to have 3 squares worth of valuable items in my pack. Right now, if you look at my pack, I have 2. So I have a ring and I have this money. John actually has 4, so he'd be able to succeed this without sacrificing any items. And then he would pick up one of the 2 rewards, whichever one he chose, and he would add it to his pack. The right hand to the slash here is that if I don't have the 3 in my pack, I can actually sacrifice 1, so actually use it. And so this is like actually, spending my money or using the ring or using the scroll or whatever. And in order to do that, when I pick my reward, I need to cover that item when I play the card into my pack. And we'll show you how that works in how you do kind of the card laying. But essentially it means that you're going to spend an item out of your pack, which has the implication of it, at the end of the game, you lose that item. You don't have it for scoring, which would be 1 point worth of, at least 1 point worth of points, victory points for you. So those are the 2 ways you can succeed on cards. If it is a dungeon card, which this one is, both players get a crack at it. So if I am unable to, or I choose to pass and I don't want to do it, then John would have a chance to do this encounter, and then if he's able to, he can succeed. On all the other types, and you'll see more of them as we go, it's not that both players go. If one player is unable to complete it, the card flips over to the left or the right and covers up one of the items, and then we play through the rest of the encounters. And then I believe, John, that the first player is the last person to go on an adventure, isn't it?
Close enough. The last person to pack a bag.
Oh, pack a bag. So, all right. So I read a lot of rule books. So there's a decent chance that I read a rule book that it was supposed to be the last person to go on an adventure in another game, but the last person to pack a bag. All right. How recently have you packed a bag?
I'm going to say last weekend.
Okay, so I was this past weekend as well, because I was at a wargaming convention, so we had a lot of bags to pack. So probably I packed a bag on Sunday to come home.
Mine was before that.
All right. So yes, I win the bag packing first player. Okay, so I have a choice to make. I do not have the ability to get this guy done just from the items in my pack. And so I could decide to throw away one of these valuables and pick something up. And unfortunately, if you think about my thought process, there are no magic items on either of the cards. And so neither of these cards are particularly good for me. So I'm going to pass to you, John. I'm not going to do anything with this one.
Sure. So you just get to, let's see here. So obviously, in my case, I get the reward for free since I have a chest which covers the 3 item value. And what I'm going to take.
This is where the decision making becomes interesting for John, because he needs to figure out which one will lay the most cleanly over his current card to give him what he wants.
Exactly. And there's another thought process as well, is this one on the left here, the left card also has an armor item worth 4 item value. So that could potentially prepare me for a quest or a dungeon later on in the game. So a couple of different things you can kind of think about while you're making a decision. I think in this case, we're going to go with the left card.
Okay. All right. And so then John gets the left card, which he's going to play into his pack. And then we flip over this dungeon to be a new reward for the next for the next encounter.
Yeah. And then I can just place this. I'm actually going to cover up one of my junk items. That way I don't have to worry about that one at the end of the game. And I'm all set.
Yeah, and so the placement rules are, at first, it actually took me a little bit to get my head around them, which seems kind of laughable now that I've played it a few times. But essentially, you need to be able to play a full item into your pack. So you can see that John played this full armor into his pack, and into the existing boundaries of the pack, which is the card underneath. If you are lucky, as he was able to only cover a junk item. He didn't have to cover any other items, so he didn't make he made his pack better at the same time as adding other stuff. The way that it's going to score at the end is we're going to get 1 point for every single good item we have in our packs, and then -1 point for every single junk item. And the junk items are this darker color. And then if you're able to put 2 identical items next to each other so they're touching, you get a bonus point. And then if you also have your little bonus points for each of your classes. So there was a class that this would have been bonus points, I think, if John was the armor squire, but he's not, so he doesn't get a bonus point there. But still, that's a nice placement because he was able to get rid of his junk. All right, so now we're on to a quest. Let's see. A group of bandits have trapped you in a nearby cave and demand a toll to let you go free. All right, so I would need two weaponry to assumedly, and I like thematically how you can always read these, John, and sort of like see what the 2 options are.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, originally it was just a single icon it was just a sword, but that one sword represented all weapons, and that made it a little bit confusing for players. So we've gone towards an icon that symbolizes all weapons, basically.
Yeah, and it's cool to think, okay, well I could fight these guys off or whatever. I could just pay them. And in this case, I can't get too far behind, so I'm going to pay them. And I'm going to take, the one I'm going to want to take is this one that has the magic in it. So I'm going to, and then here's where I actually have to use an item. And because you can see on the right hand of the slash, it says a -1 valuable. So I actually need to use one of my valuables, and not because I didn't get the benefit of having the right stuff in my pack, essentially. All right. My phone actually froze for a second here. Hold on. The beauty of doing things live is that sometimes we have weird stuff happen while we're running live.
Yeah, small hiccups.
Yeah, sure. But yeah, so we have a bunch of folks. I don't know if folks in the chat are already backers of Squire for Hire. If you are, feel free to chime in with questions for John while I get my technical things under control.
I recognize 1 or 2.
Oh, really? Good. That's cool. It is kind of neat how the Kickstarter process, you kind of get to know some of these backers, even if they're not people you know in the real world.
It kind of builds this little micro community where you kind of get to know a few people and get a lot of outside feedback on stuff as well, which is great.
Yeah, really cool. So a question from Prince Loomis. Any new animals in the works, John?
There is. We have one of the exclusives for the Kickstarter actually is a bonus Squire card. So it'll be a 19th card, which is a community voted card. And it's going, so far anyway, the vote has gone towards a platypus necromancer.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That sounds like exactly how I would expect the vote to come out for
a community vote. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I love it. And then a question from Orange Raven. Are you a fan of Billy Squire? So a little play on words for you tonight. Yes.
Love it. Oh, what's that song? The Strokes?
I think it is, right? The Strokes. Is that Billy Squire? That's what I would have guessed. But that's probably dating ourselves, both of us.
Oh, yeah, but I do love that song.
Yeah, that's good. Cool. All right, so I'm almost done here. You know what I shouldn't have done today? There's a warning for everybody out there. My phone updated to Android version 10. And apparently my phone didn't like that update to Android version 10. It's been a little bit wonky this afternoon. So that's a little tip to not do that before you do a stream in the evening.
Or just get an iPhone. I mean, either way.
Hey,
I'm just kidding. I was always Android.
No. But that's a good point. As now somebody who works on mobile applications, it is sometimes nice to just deal with only one platform. Because the every phone does it a little bit differently in the Android space. So just having to deal with one on Apple is kind of nice, but
exactly,
it's all right. 6. All right. Yeah, we're having all sorts of weird technical issues.
You're missing a potion.
Yeah, did you see that? It really didn't like that one potion. So it's interesting because the way that this scanner works is it actually does take into account the pink. So I'm not surprised that it kind of didn't like the pink. Because it uses pink as its background color.
Oh, okay.
Not to get too kind of down in the weeds, but that's how it detects cards.
Right.
And so there it goes. Okay. All right, we're back in business. Okay, cool. So I'm gonna try to see if I can. I need to cover one valuable item, and so I'm gonna cover this one on the top right, and I'm gonna do this. So I can touch these two scrolls together.
Yep.
And that'll give me a bonus point.
Perfect.
That's what I like to see. All right. So, and now the turn is to John.
Alrighty. So we've got our dungeon here. You and your party venture into a powerful sorcerer's lair. His illusions can lead you into dangerous traps unless you have the magic to protect yourself. And in this case, it's looking for 3 magic item value or give up 1 potion. Unfortunately, I only have 1 magic item value, so that's a no-go for me. So I will pass to you.
All right, and since this is a dungeon, it doesn't automatically flip over, so now I get to take a crack at it. I do have the 3 magic value. For my squire, I actually get bonus 1, and I have 4 in my pack, so I have a total of 5 currently. So I get this one for free, and I'm going to take this awesome orb, of course, with the chicken kind of feet on it, or maybe dragon claw at the bottom, some sort of clawed foot.
Either or, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Chicken or dragon, and nothing. Nothing
in the Squire for Hire. Yeah,
right.
In the Squire for Hire universe, it's one and the same.
Yeah, that's kind of funny. It could be either or of the two.
Yeah.
Okay, so I actually am having the exact same problem. Which is a little bit distressing. So I'm gonna have to do a song and dance here while I get this back up and running.
That's all right.
Yeah. It just really doesn't like scanning today.
Yeah, it seemed to be working okay, but
yeah, it was. Yeah, I'm not sure what actually triggered it. It's starting to have a revolt on us here, but 1 second, and we'll get it under control. So, John, where are you located? I know
I'm actually I'm just north of Toronto in a small town called Barrie.
Barrie, okay, cool. Is there a good board game scene there?
There may be, but I haven't found it.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, there's lots of areas of the country that are like that. We're hoping that that's one of the reasons that people might actually kind of like our product, to be able to find other similar-minded folks around the country and the world. This is our second Canadian designer stream. We did Legends of Novus. With Fundamental Games. They were a successful Kickstarter a few months ago.
Very cool.
And they were in Canada. I think they were a little bit further west, though. So they were a little bit further away from us. We're on the east coast of the U.S. So so you're not quite the furthest away Canadian that we've had on the stream.
a little closer.
Yeah, exactly. Interesting. It's interesting that you are you doing illustration for other people's game projects? Is that kind of how you got into the industry, or are you doing illustration for just kind of ad work or
Whatever.
books or anything? Okay, cool.
I've done anything and everything from like CD covers to book covers, um, children's books. Uh, yeah, you kind of name it. It's probably on my list of things that I've done.
Cool.
And yeah, a couple of years ago, the card games particularly sparked my interest, and I started to make my own, and here we are.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
yeah,
it's really neat that there's like a platform that you're able to both in GameCrafter and also Kickstarter, right? That lets you
Yeah.
able to be able to just sort of build your own and release your own games, which is really neat.
yeah,
All right, so we're almost there.
not a problem. Yeah, the process overall is just really fun for me, just being an artist, and the fact that I do a lot of different styles and a lot of different themes kind of lends itself very well to card games. So I've kind of grown into it, so to speak.
Yeah, and also, I mean, like it seems like a pretty nice advantage to be able to do that stuff yourself, right, and not have to find an artist.
It is,
and
it's,
get out of your head what you want from
yeah.
the game. You know,
Generally, if I have an idea, I can sit down in front of an iPad and put it together in a couple minutes, as opposed to I have this idea in my head, now I have to spend a couple of weeks looking for an artist, and I don't take that for granted. I know that's very tough for some people to to be able to do. So
yeah, and I think just part of that process of making games is difficult. If you're trying to do it independently, right? So
yeah,
if you're trying to do the designer as well as being the artist at the same time, and publisher, kind of, if you're going on Kickstarter.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Question
A bit of
for
everything.
question for Prince Loomis: any plans for expansions for Squire for Hire in the future?
I'd say at this point, I'd love to do an expansion. I think the game lends itself very well to always adding more item types or more squires. There's lots of different cool things I think you could do with it, even changing up little bits of gameplay here and there. So there's nothing official yet, but I'd like to definitely add something in.
That's cool. You're going to be theoretically limited by the size of your packaging, maybe a little bit, unless that's the full limit of number of cards. But I think there's definitely some room still in there, right?
Yeah, I can add like a card or two, but
Okay.
If we're adding an expansion, it'll be contained in its own separate little booster.
Okay, yeah. So you'd ship that separately. All right.
Yeah,
cool.
exactly.
Yeah, that's neat. I mean, and now you'll have a nice little, and not really little, right? You'll have a good user base to actually, pull ideas from and get feedback from. So
yeah, and that's the plus of the Kickstarter taking off a little bit is having that small community kind of built around Squire for Hire so far.
Right. Yeah, that's
Getting
great.
the feedback, great.
All right, so we're almost there. I'm sorry. I'm as I'm looking off the screen here, uninstalling and reinstalling just to make sure that we are good to go.
Cover our bases. Yeah.
Yeah.
No problem.
Yeah, exactly. That's I'm going to get on the phone with somebody at Google tonight. I'm going to say, what's the deal? You shipped me a version of Android that wasn't working with our app tonight.
Yeah, just call them out.
Right. Yeah.
They may not do anything about it, but you can call them out on it.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Exactly. Somewhere, a computer far away started whirring to life because they were monitoring my Twitch stream to hear complaints about Google.
Yeah.
Oh, and it's actually kind of funny. Thank you, phone. It just popped up asking if I wanted help because I said that word.
Oh.
Yeah.
Always listening.
Yeah, exactly. They were actually listening, so it was just me proving their point. Me proving the point, I suppose. All right, so if this doesn't correct it, we'll actually just switch phones. But I'd rather not do that if we can get away with it.
Yeah.
So are you a guy who does a lot of backing of Kickstarters? Like, are you on the Kickstarter platform a lot?
No, and I kind of wish I was. And part of that reason is being in Canada, shipping always sucks.
Yes.
And was honestly part of my worry when doing a Kickstarter from Canada was shipping is going to suck.
Yep.
But that being said, like I've kind of purposefully avoided Kickstarter a lot because I'm like, I know I'm going to get sucked into all these projects that are really cool and all have very long timelines. So I'm just going to have this backlog of really cool games that are.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough, right? Because there are just unbelievable things that I assume just
Yeah.
probably would never get made if that platform wasn't there for them, or wouldn't
Yeah.
get made in that form.
Yeah.
But as a backer, it is tough to get not caught up in just backing lots and lots and lots of stuff.
Yeah.
And then, 6 months later, 8 months later, whatever, having it arrive and maybe not being as interested anymore, or, like just then having 5 games all at the same time and not getting to play it as much as you were hoping. So yeah, it's tough. You probably have the right, honestly, you probably have the right idea by trying to avoid it.
And that's part of it too. If I had a bigger gaming community where, like I have my small dedicated group that I game with, but outside of that, it's always tough to get people together, and not necessarily worth getting a new game all the time for no one to play it.
Yeah, exactly.
Everyone knows how that happens.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, it turns into, honestly, like I think the worst part about it is it kind of turns into like almost a guilt, where you just see all these games and you say, oh man, I bought them, so I paid money for them, right? But 2, like I bought them because I wanted to spend the time, but now you're just sort of mad at yourself that you're not able to play all these games that are sitting on your shelf. So it's tough. I don't know. I've gotten some great games that I love at it, but also I have some games that I always feel guilty that I haven't played more of.
Yeah,
so
for sure. I just finished grabbing 7 Wonders as well, and that's next on the list to try out. But I'm like, I don't know when that's going to be.
Yeah, I implemented a strategy a few years ago on the video game side, where I just said, okay, I'm not going to buy any video games unless I'm actually literally sitting down to play them, right at that moment. And so that's a little bit harder to pull off with board games, because
especially if it's on Kickstarter and you want to grab it before.
Yeah, exactly. If there's the chance that it's going to go out of print, or gonna be super expensive to get your hands on, or whatever. That's just, that threat is always nerve-wracking, I guess.
Yeah.
But it does make it a good match for the Kickstarter idea. Sort of the fear of missing out. As a main function of driving demand. So
that's true.
So okay, all right. So we are back. We're gonna give this phone another chance here. So hopefully that paid off. All right. So we just refreshed.
Cool.
And we'll get going. Yeah, it's like you can. It seems like you can prep a million times, and then you run into stuff like that while you're live. I guess that's the beauty and fear of live streaming, right?
That's it. Yeah.
You get to see people fumbling around off screen to try to get things running. Okay, so I'll flip this over so that you can take a look at your next choice while I try to get this guy built.
Sure.
So I have to, what's coverage rules? That's one thing I wasn't 100% clear on. So I need to, if I'm going to cover something, I need to totally cover it, right?
Exactly, right.
Okay.
It's like trying to, if you think about it in physical sense, you have to try to put something in your bag entirely, and you also can't eat half of something to take up that space. You have to cover or use that whole item.
All right, cool. So I'm going to do I think this, so I can leave those items up there, but then connect. And do I get this twice?
Exactly, yeah.
All right,
so
cool.
Both of those items count as 2 sets of your +2 squire bonus.
All right, well that's a nice little perk for me. Okay.
That's a great play. Yep. Awesome. And for my turn, so we're looking here. You've come across a wounded traveler. He agrees to give you his precious loot if you give him a healing potion. And unfortunately, I don't have one, so I'm going to pass by flipping that card to, let's see here. We're going to cover up the left card.
Okay. And generally in your plays, like, when you're playing it competitively, are you kind of looking at the fact that, like, I have no real armor, so it's better to kind of screw me out of getting armor for future engagements?
Exactly.
Right?
So that was the reasoning behind that flip there, was to knowing that you don't have that yet may prevent you from completing a quest down the line. That sort of idea.
All right. So now we're at a quest. A giant forest troll blocks your path. A spell might trick the troll into letting you pass, or give up your clanky armor to sneak by. So I have the magic. This is lucky. I got another magic, a magic one. So that one's free for me. And then let me think about what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to take this left one just because it has a magic item on it. But I got to think about how I might be able to play it. And so one of the mechanics here is that as I take that item, take that loot card, I uncover the one that John just covered. So now that one's available again, potentially, depending on which one I decide to cover up with my quest. So I'm going to cover up... I'm going to cover up the one with the money on it. Which, oh well. You'll see. It didn't really matter. I gave you more money to think about.
Sometimes it doesn't, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so then I'm going to play this. Oh man, it'd be really nice if I could get it. If I could like jam it into that corner and get both of the scrolls, but I can't. So I think I can play that, right?
No, so you just need one item within the
that's right. One needs to be in the structure. Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm trying to think if I can do
that.
I could do that. Oh, it's not far enough though.
Yeah, you won't get the bonus for the scroll and the book together, but
yeah,
it is a legal move.
I don't know if I don't think there's a way. There's no spot I can get the scroll, so it's fine. I'll just have to do something else. I'm gonna just try to make sure I cover some junk.
Yeah.
And that's how I'll do it.
There you go.
Cool. Oh, your encounter card's upside down. Hold on.
That's okay.
There you go.
Perfect. Let's wait for that to refresh. Okay. So this encounter card is guards patrol the storehouse, and any noise will alert them to your attempts to steal the goods. Drop the armor that clangs inside your bag to avoid detection. So I have to give up one piece of armor, which I think I will do.
Yeah. So these ones, every once in a while, as you'll notice, you'll run into ones that are just straight item use, and there's no automatic pass. So this is one that John got.
So I'm going to take that card on the right for obvious reasons, having two valuable items on there.
Yeah, your tenderfoot wants some of that sweet gold.
Yep, for sure. And now because that, I believe that card should be... Oh, no, we still have one card underneath that one. Okay.
Yeah, I think there's just the one, right?
Yeah.
9. Okay. Yeah, one here. All right, so which way would you like to flip?
Okay, so we're going to flip it... Let's flip it onto the left one again.
Until the left one, yeah. Just denying me the armor, which I can get.
Yeah, why not?
Okay,
right. So for my go here, I have to cover up that armor piece. But all I need is one item in my bag to make that happen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to combine the coins and the chest together while covering up that helmet. And that will give me my extra little bonus there for the 2 points.
Nice play.
Yeah, and I still got some free room over here to keep adding stuff.
Yeah, do some more building.
Yeah,
I'm gonna quick do a multi-select here and move your guys up a little bit there.
Yep, perfect.
So they don't drip off the screen. All right, so we got another. I got another sweet orb out there that I'm going to try to get my hands on. All right, so the encounter is the local temple has offered to provide some old provisions in exchange for a donation. So I got to somehow figure out a way to get rid of $1, which I think I can. I can get rid of that one. And I'm going to do it with the orb piece for sure. I can't get enough of these orbs. I'm an orb-toting raccoon.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And then I will flip this I'm just gonna keep trying to cover the money, so I'm gonna go to the right. And then let's see here. I think I can do this, which gives me another bonus from the bottom there. And there we go. Oh no, this isn't a bonus. That's not a bonus combination, right?
Yeah.
So all right, that's fine. I wonder if I could. Maybe I could. Hold on. Can I do something up here? I don't think I can.
Yeah, it'll be tricky. I don't think.
I could cover up that. Oh no, I need to cover up a money. Yeah, never mind. The whole thing was to cover up a money, so I will do that, just like that.
Yep.
Cool. All right, you're up.
Cool. All right. So we got a quest. It's you have contracted a deadly blight. Dirge, the local alchemist, will sell you the cure for a price, unless you have a potion already. So I only need 2 valuable item value. In this case, I got 7 so far.
think you're okay.
I think I'm okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And let's see, what do I want here? Yeah, I'm going to go for the 1 extra point and take the right-hand card.
All right. Then which direction do you want to block?
Let's go left again.
Really trying to keep that out of my hands, huh?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, well, big armor piece came up anyway.
Yeah, that happens.
All right. Flip these. All right, so my quest... Oh, wait, we'll let you place first. All right, so you need to... You can just put it wherever now, right?
Yep.
All right, you're not having to use an item.
Yeah, nothing specific that I can get any bonuses or anything for at this point, so I'll just play it safe, cover up some junk, and that'll be the end of my turn.
Yeah, and Tenderfoot has an ability, right, that if you have 3 of the same junk items...
Yeah.
Now, did you change this to you only get 1 point instead of 3? Is that right?
It is. So the wording was off, but it's if you have 3 of the same junk item, you get 1 point for each set.
Cool.
I was missing that set word at the end. Yeah.
And then the one thing, I was playing this before in a 2-player game, and one thing we didn't know was with that skill, do you still get the minuses for the junk, or does that make them 0?
If you have 3 or more, that makes them 0.
Okay, so essentially it's not that you subtract the 3 then add the 1. It's that they become just a +1 total. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, because otherwise the skill wouldn't be that good. That's how we ended up interpreting it, but we didn't know for sure. Okay.
And a lot of those little things have been corrected on the card going forward. So
oh, okay. Yeah, I'm sure.
That'll be it.
That's one of those things that when you do print and plays and you do a Kickstarter, I'm sure people,
you get feedback.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People jump on you
For
about
sure.
it. So, all right, cool. So my quest: you trigger a set of traps in some old ruins, and poison arrows, fire, and daggers shoot your way. The right armor or spell may protect you. And I would need 2 armor, and finally, your denying me of armor has paid off. So. It's like this guy has designed the game or something. All right, so I got to sacrifice 1 magic item to succeed here if I want to. And unfortunately, I don't have any nice ways to get to a single magic item. Unless I were to just not do my scroll, but that's already a +1 connected. I could just replace it with another scroll.
You could.
Yeah, maybe I will do that. So I'm going to take this left card. I was just a heartbeat away from just ejecting from that and saying, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that one. But
yeah, sometimes it works out.
Yeah, I kind of would you know, I don't yet know the best kind of strategy, but I kind of think like trying to deny the other player the ability to play cards is always good.
Yeah.
So I'll go for that.
There's a couple of different ways you can look at it. You can either, hopefully take away their ability to complete quests, or you can just work on focusing on your own bag and try to make it the best one you can, and
Right. All
worry
right.
about it too much.
Cool. So you're up.
All right. You have to flip your card there.
Oh yeah, man. I totally would have missed that. You could have taken advantage of that big time.
That's all right. It happens.
All right. So I'm going to continue to just try to deny the money.
Yep.
And you got a big money opportunity.
I'll take it. Okay, but to do so, all right, you come across a traveling merchant with various goods looking to trade. They'll only accept a trade of items, not coin or junk. So basically, I can give up any regular item, so obviously not junk or coins. I'm obviously going to take the card on the right. Seems like a smart move.
Yeah, seems like it. Get that maximization. And then you can just cover one of anything. All right.
Yep.
That's pretty good.
Oops.
And then your bonus. Okay, yeah. If you could get it connected to that dollar, that'd be nice.
Yeah.
And I assume that's where you're headed.
That's where I'm headed. My only concern is that if I get 3 torches, then I won't have to worry about the torches.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So that being said,
I think you might have to sacrifice that torch.
yeah. That's the way I'm going to go. All right, so we fit that right in there. And I know a lot of people were wondering about this bow.
Yep.
A lot of people were thinking that it was actually worth 4 squares. Technically, it's not covering that 4th square, so it is worth 3.
Yeah, that's that's cool for like when you're doing the stacking too, where you can.
It's a neat little niche spot where you can
do what you just did essentially, which is
exactly.
fit it into a spot that it doesn't look like you can fit it. So all right, cool. Yeah. And then what are you looking to cover here?
All right, so we're gonna cover up.
Well, this is actually last card. So.
Oh, okay.
So now.
What we do is flip.
Now, do we shuffle them?
You can shuffle them. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Cool.
Once we're down to the last 2 cards, then you just alternate the 2 cards.
Okay. Cool. All right. So. Let's see. Ooh, and it ends up on a dungeon. Which that's appropriate.
Yep.
It's kind of nice that it ends that way. All right, cool. Okay, so you and your party venture into a powerful sorcerer's lair. His illusions can lead you into dangerous traps unless you have the magic to protect yourself. And man, I've gotten really lucky with the mission cards this game, because it's like been a lot of magic for me. So I'm gonna take the spell book to try to get that attached to one of my scrolls over there.
Good call.
I don't think I can get it to both of my scrolls, but maybe I'll be able to pull it off. I don't think I can do it though. All right, so let's see. I mean, I could do that, but I'm going to lose a whole armor piece. I'm going to lose an armor piece, and I'm going to lose a skull at the same time, though. So,
yeah,
the bonus point might be worth it. I think I'm going to do. I think I'm going to do that. To me,
I mean, each item is only worth 1 point at the end anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Like even that armor is really big, doesn't matter, right? So
exactly.
Okay, all right. So we have 2 cards left, and then what's this? What's the way that this plays out at the end with the 2?
Yeah. So both of them now flip.
Okay.
So that it's a quest to get that last.
Oh, got it. Okay.
And then the very last card will go to the next player if they want it.
Okay. All right. Cool. So all right. Well, all you.
So we are looking at an encounter. You dropped your hero's weapon into a chasm while scaling the walls of a fortress. Leave the weapon behind to carry on to the dungeon's treasures, or return back to retrieve it. So I have to give up a weapon, and I think I can do it. So let's take that left card.
All right.
Make something happen.
Yeah, you have some weapons on the periphery. The worst is when just all your stuff gets like buried in there, and there's just really nothing you can do about it.
Yeah. The scanning seems to be working pretty good now too.
Yeah, it's back, so
Not the jinx it, knock on wood. But...
Yeah, exactly. All
right.
I'm gonna call Sergey Brin, and I'm gonna tell him that finally I got it working.
There you go. So in my case here, I have to cover a weapon. I'm going to go for that dagger because I can also cover 2 junk items at the same time.
Oh, nice. That's a good play.
So I will do that.
Okay, and then the final card, if I want it, I can have it, is the way it works?
Yep, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's got 2 junk on it. I wonder if there's a way that I can...
But 3 items.
But 3 items, yeah. So it's a benefit as long as I can cover 2 junk items with it.
Exactly,
it's
yeah.
a plus, yeah. So I'll take it for sure. 16. Okay, and then it comes in. And then we have the exciting point totaling, which is kind of a neat part of this. All right, so let's see. I mean, I could do something like this, and I could cover 2 of those junk items, but then I also could do this and get the bonus of connecting them.
Yeah.
And...
Which may put you in the same...
Yeah, I think it ends up in the same, actually, right? Because I leave the skull, which would be a -1, so I think it actually is no different.
I potentially see a better option for you, but...
Oh, yeah, don't tell me. Yeah, see, you know what you just did to yourself, though? Now I'm just going to be, like, staring at it.
Yeah, I know.
All right, so I could do this, but that's the same thing, I think. I could take 1 away there, add the 1.
Yeah, that's the one I was thinking of.
I think technically it's either the same or maybe it's +1. That might be 1 better than what I was going to do. Because this I would have covered 2 trash. Yeah. And now I'm only covering 1 trash. So I think it's a wash. But that's fine. I'll play that way. Okay.
There you go.
All right, sweet. So as you can see, the bags can get really cool and crazy. John and mine look really different. And the way that the point scoring works is we're just going to count 1 for every single item, and then we'll get our bonuses on top of the 1 for every single item, and then we subtract for our garbage, and then we go from there. I have found the easiest way to count is kind of to just sort of go row by row, top down, because otherwise it's really easy to lose track of stuff. So I'm going to start with my pluses. And so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 in the positive column, minus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So that's 19 minus 11 is 8 points. And then my bonuses, I'm going to get 1 bonus point here. So that's 9 points. And then I'm going to get 2 more, or I'm going to get 4 more bonus points because each is worth 2. So that's 13 points. And I think, and then a bonus right here, 14 points. I think 14.
Yeah,
and
I don't see any.
I didn't get to benefit from the food at all, which is a bummer. But
no, but you ended up with 14 in total, and that looks like all the bonuses I can see there.
Yeah, this one and then those 2. Yeah, I think that's all my bonuses.
Yeah.
So okay, 14.
Cool.
On my side.
All right. So then for my side here, we are looking at. I'll do the same method that I find that actually works really well, is going row by row to kind of make sure you don't miss anything. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then we're looking at, let's minus our junk. So we got no triples of any junk, so I don't get any pluses. But we got, what did I say, 12 minus, so 11, 10, and 9. And then we got our square bonuses here. So we got the chest and the coins on this side will give us +2. So was I at 9?
You were at 9, yep.
Yeah, so 11. And we have the same bonus there, so we're at 13. And I think that's
it.
All I got.
So is it 14, 13?
14, 13.
Ooh,
you got
man.
me.
All right.
Yep.
So question, Prince Loomis. Yeah, 2 potions is a bonus. So two two anything matched, two identical items matched together of any color is always a bonus. So
exactly.
if you got two bows or two swords, that counts as a bonus. So that's why I got the bonus 1 point, which ended up winning it.
That's what it came down to. Yeah.
So that's interesting because my bag is a messy disaster. But what's funny is, like, if you looked at it, I thought I had this in the bag. No, I thought, because looking at the bag, right, I was like, wow, I have a ton of items.
Yeah.
I'm gonna crush it. But my problem is I had a ton of garbage.
Exactly.
And so your placement was much more efficient from a garbage perspective, while mine was more just like freewheeling. And the garbage almost screwed me there. So that's cool, because it definitely seems like you're playing it a little bit better than I am, even though I won.
And that's what it comes down to, right? It's all about packing the bag efficiently. And even though I lost the first two rounds, I think I didn't even pick up a loot card.
Yeah.
You ended up with more cards, but that's what comes back to haunt you.
Yeah, and like I obviously, every game, I mean, there's randomness in every game, right? I think I benefited from, I got a lot of free magic cards, which is, whatever. That's the way the things work out sometimes. But
Exactly.
But it is an illustration that even if you don't get as many cards because you fail out on a couple of encounters, you definitely still have a chance if you take your time and really minimize the garbage. So that's cool. That's really cool. So I actually I enjoy this a lot. I think you've come upon a really smart time to do these micro games. I hope you make more of them. I hope this isn't the end of the road for your micro games, because
I hope I do too.
I keep these things in my backpacks and in my pockets, and they're like when I am stuck somewhere games, and I love it.
Very cool.
So this one's great. For folks who have not checked it out in the chat, definitely you only have a few more days left to pick up your Kickstarter copy of Squire for Hire, which comes with a bonus Squire card. And then, John, will this be like generally available at GameCrafter after the delivery of the Kickstarter, do you think?
Either on GameCrafter, or there may be a couple other avenues that it's available on as well.
Okay, cool.
And all that will be announced.
All right, great. And then is there anything else that you wanted to discuss on the stream? Other things you wanted to plug or talk about, or things people should watch out for?
Sure. I mean, there's always, of course, check out the Kickstarter. There's the extra Kickstarter bonus card that will be, of course, provided with the game. There's also some score sheets, which I find help keep track of your score when you're writing down at the end of the game. Those get provided as kind of like a downloadable printout copy. There's also a small little illustration that every backer gets. Aside from that, you can follow along on my Twitter afterwards. It's John Merchant 21. Instagram is the same, John Merchant 21. And I also run a Patreon where I do previews of upcoming games and stuff like that, and I offer print and plays for free, that kind of thing, to all my patrons to kind of get the word out there and get things tested and get some feedback.
Awesome.
So,
killer.
Yeah.
A final question from chat, actually, from Rick Mann. 2 decks for 4 players. How well do 2 packs play for a 3-player game?
So it's all about the ratio of cards to people. So you can see the way that James, you and I played. We get a fair number of cards for each of us. So that all it does is double in a 4-player game. So in a 3-player game, you have that many more cards to work with. So it's similar to the way that a solo player game would work. So where you and I scored very closely in getting 13, 14 points, a solo player game you can get up to 30, 35 points. So that ratio kind of goes up when you go each player.
Cool.
So
yeah, and I'm sure you could augment it a little bit too, right? You could just like pull some. If you were going to do 3, you could do like a deck and a half of cards, or kind of
exactly.
Get it to
if
feel
you don't
wherever
want
you like.
Yeah, exactly. You can kind of manipulate it to if you don't want the game to last twice as long, then you can just reduce that number of cards.
Killer. All right, cool.
Yeah.
Anyway, thanks for coming on the program. Sorry we had a little bit of technical difficulties in the middle there.
No worries.
But how'd you like playing your game inside the system?
I liked it a lot, actually. It was otherwise pretty seamless, other than the small technical difficulties, and um, you get a great sense of how the pieces are laid out. Everything's visible. You're not looking at something from one angle of a table. You're looking at something kind of like bird's eye view, which is really cool. So no, I enjoyed it. I think it works really well.
Cool. All right. Well, thanks for trying it out. For folks who are seeing Vorpal Board for the first time, you can always follow us here on Twitch or on Twitter at Vorpal Board, or on Facebook at Vorpal Board, or on Instagram at Vorpal Board, or on YouTube, where all our stuff ends up getting posted, where this video will end up getting posted. We stream on Tuesday nights and Friday nights most commonly, but lately we've been kind of streaming all over the place, so you can follow us here on Twitch and get notified when we're going to go live again. We do combinations of streams like this, where we do views of games that are currently on Kickstarter, but we also do streams where we get the dev team together and pretty much try to break the system. So if you're interested in watching that kind of stuff, we do that usually on Tuesday nights. We play just sort of popular board games and try out new features and whatnot. And we'll be coming to Kickstarter with our platform, with the Vorpal Board platform, so you could actually use this yourselves to play games with your friends in early 2020. So if you're interested in that, give us a follow. And obviously get on Kickstarter if you're not there already, and back John's game. And talk to you guys next time. John, thanks a lot. Have a good night.
Cool. Thanks. Take care.
All right, take care.